Hello and welcome to an Everquest Monk level 95 kind of guide on how I run my Monk. So it's kind of like a setup video on what I do and how I do it. So here I am in my guild hall. I have my shaman and my bard over here. We're going to use those when I do some parsing here in a minute, but kind of want to go over my hotkeys first, and then we'll go over some of the skills I use and whatnot. So my primary play style is I box the two other characters. So I use IS Boxers, so everything is key repeated to every other screen when I have that enabled. And so some of my keys are kind of combined together in a way that they make sense across all the characters. So let's kind of keep that in mind here. But my first macro here, I call it spam. I hit this button pretty much constantly. I'm kind of wasting a line with his Merc assist since I have auto assist on right now. But first thing I do is I turn my Merc on, right? I use healer Mercs, so if I have my Mercs off in certain situations, I want them to start healing me as soon as I hit that button, and then that turns them on, and they start going into it was whatever mode they're in. So then I turn on attack, because you know, if you're not attacking, you're not doing damage. So, and then I do disc 7-step pattern. So let's go here to 7-step pattern. I should have got that. So this is with 7 simple steps, you attack your opponent with 3 successive tiger claw plunges. So that's just a little extra damage. It's got a 30-second reuse with a 370 stamina cost. So every 30 seconds, that gets executed and gets hit. So I'm just constantly hitting the 2 button when I'm playing. And then 5 point is the other one. So let's go here to 5 point. This one is always being hit also. This one's a 5-minute recast. But it is a, let's see here. It has a duration, I think, but consumes 2% of my health, does 47,000 damage, and then strikes them with another dragon punch. So this does, you know, a nice little damage boost right there. And that's every 5 minutes. And I believe that timer will go down and down and down as we go. It does more damage, but I think it goes down in timer wise. Zanfi is another one I'm always spamming. Zanfi's Whistle. This is a 7-minute reuse, but it has a 3-minute duration. So I kind of just hit it all the time. It's always good to be just, you know, always using these bonus damages, right? So this one, when activated, increases your base melee damage by 15%. The damage dealt to your one-hand attacks by 75 points, and two-handed blunt attacks by 165 points, and flying kick attacks by 690 points for 3 minutes. So this is like a really nice, I mean, you could almost save it for burns, but I just use it constantly. Always using it as much as I can, and that's just constant extra damage that I'm doing. And that's my first button, right? The 6-step pattern is the one that kind of gets used the most, because it's just 30-second reuse, but they're just doing damage. Then I also have disc vigorous shuriken on my second button, which is the other one I hit. So I kind of got like 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of the way I do it when I'm hitting the buttons. And so all those buttons correspond to things that all the other characters do. And then you can see on number 5, I have it's a shaman group buff, which is just a dummy macro that hides corpses. And that corresponds to a button on the shaman. So when I hit that, she will cast, I think, leopard or whatever it is now. But vigorous shuriken down here, not that far. Where is it? Should be, well, it is kind of an older one, I think. Yeah, it's a level 83 one. Still does a little bit of damage. I can hit that every 6 seconds. May or may not be worth it to do anymore at this point. I'm currently 96. I just hit 95 in the last video I made, but it may or may not be worth it to cast at this point. But I'm also doing that, that on cooldown pretty much. And then Cloud of Fists is another lower one. This one, your hands blur, pummeling your opponent, seemingly endless fist. This is a 30-second reuse, 177 stamina, just more damage. Every discipline we can use, I'm trying to use it. And then I hit Veilwalker's Synergy, which is a 91 skill. Strikes your opponent with 3 flying kicks, and then making them weaker to additional flying kicks. And you'll kind of see that flying kick is our go-to auto skill ability. Right now I'm auto skilling flying kick and tiger claw, and I'll kind of show some of the differences with some of those here in just a minute. And then I do intimidation because I'm not sure what the name of it is, but there's an AA that corresponds to that and gives you more damage. I just can't remember the name of it. I couldn't find it when I was looking. Let's see, I thought it was called intimidation, but yeah, I don't see it. Oh, here it is, intimidation. So whenever you use the intimidate skill, it triggers Ascendant's intimidation, whatever rank. And then this increases the damage your target takes from your Tiger Claw, Eagle Strike, and Dragon Punch, or Tail Rake if you're an Ixar, by 30% for 30 seconds. So definitely worth hitting that on cooldown. The later ranks, it gets rid of the fear component. So when you first get this, say you're in a classic TLP, it's gonna fear things eventually. Then it eventually goes away when you get into this AA. I don't know. It says Ring of Scale, but that's just the level I'm at right now. So, combat buffs. These are not as spammable. These are kind of longer duration kind of buffs. So the first one I do is a Drunken Monkey style, and I don't pay that close attention to it, honestly. If I had Gina set up for this character, it would make a lot more. I could know what to do at the time, but right now I just kind of hit it, and if it works, it works. But what this does is it's a chaotic attack stance, offering the monk a slight chance to improve up to 5 combat skills. And so what this means is it randomly picks one of the skills: Eagle Strike, Flying Kick, maybe Round Kick, Tiger Claw. It picks one of those and gives you a damage bonus to that. I mostly run Flying Kick, so it's just if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't, kind of thing. So, and then Fists of Wu, which is another one. I believe it's a little bit lower down here. Let's see if I can find it. Sort by name. There, Fist of Wu. It's a level 68 skill. Yeah, it's just from level 68, but you'll see that it doesn't share a timer with anything else, right? Master's Aura and Discipline's Aura, those are just self buffs that are always on. But the Fist of Wu grants your companions the Fist of Wu, increasing the frequency they'll execute double attacks. So for 1 minute, for 200 stamina, I can increase, from what I understand, everybody in the group's chance to double attack. So that is a pretty strong ability right there. Not really helping the the bard as much, right? It helps me do more damage, and it helps, I think, the rogue mercenary too. We'll kind of look out for that buff when we're doing this here in a second. So, and then Ton Pose, which is over here. Tom Pose stance. When activated, allows 14% of your primary hand combat rounds to strike your current target with an additional primary combat round that deals 35% of your standard melee damage and increases your chance of performing a critical melee chance by 9% at the cost of 400 endurance per second for 30 seconds. So this is a pretty big stamina drain, and you can see I have it kind of turned off right now. The little you can put a semicolon or a pound in front of it, and it kind of comments it out or disables it in my spam button. So it's kind of, it's like it's there. It's a 10-minute reuse, so sometimes it's good, but it does drain my stamina. I've been having some stamina issues with some of the stuff I've been doing. But it's there and it does a lot of damage. I believe I have it on more of a burn. I don't even think I have it hotkeyed right now because I was so mad. Let's just put it like right here for right now. Let's see here. Infusion of Thunder. I think I can just right click that one, right? So Infusion of Thunder, when activated, increases your base melee damage by 80%, raises the minimum damage of your attacks to be 85, and grants your melee attacks a chance with a 20% bonus to trigger Infusion of Shock 3 for 30 seconds, and that deals 2,800 damage, and this is a 7-minute reuse. I used to have it in my spam button just to use it whenever. But I don't know. I took it out for some reason. I thought it was taking stamina. I don't know if these the AAs consume stamina or not. I need to really research that. And then the final one is Two Finger Wasp Touch. Right here, which when activated increases the damage your target takes from Peg or Claw, all your punch abilities, by 15% for 1 minute on a 3-minute reuse. So that's pretty much just always on for the most part. It's down for a little bit, but it's up a lot. So that is that one. That's the combat buff. So I hit, it's like 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, 4, 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, 4. It's kind of the kind of thought process behind that, because these are longer duration and they don't they last for a little while. And then the shaman one, like I said, is just a dummy button, so it reminds me that if I hit 5, the shaman's gonna do some stuff. So, and I'll cover the shaman's buff in a separate video. And then I have a burn button. This is burn 1, which activates Spire of the Sensei, which is right here. This is for 1 minute and 30 seconds. You get what is it here? 100% chance to trigger Sensei's Guard, increase magic, or increase your damage by, or no, the chance your magical weapons will trigger, right? So you're proc 28% more. Minimum damage goes up to 100. Minimum, it's like minimum twice. So melee attacks minimum goes up by 37. Your minimum damage goes to 100. Melee accuracy goes up by 30%. Attack power goes up 40. 5% extra chance to crit. 5% chance to crit with spells. Now for a monk, that means procs. 70% chance to avoid melee. So it's just an all-around really good thing. Then I click on the same button. I have Tiger's Balance, which is right. Where is it? Tiger's Balance right here. It's level 92. You take the balance of the tiger, adding extra attacks when you strike. It's a 20-minute reuse on a 16 on timer 16. It's pretty high on the stamina, but I only use it on the burn. And then here I have that Infusion Thunder again. Just it's kind of building up like this. These all have duration, and it's lots of damage and duration. You'll notice in the videos I kind of hit these buttons on all the named to try to get them as much as down as fast as I can, because they are kind of rough at times. And then Focus Destructive Force, right? So there's Destructive Force and Focus Destructive Force. Focus Destructive Force, your primary melee slot hits the target with an additional melee round for 42 seconds. And then Destructive Force causes you to hit all targets in a 40-foot radius. So if I was trying to burn down AoE, I'd use Destructive Force and single target focused. And yeah, they do 25% of that damage. So there we go. And then Silent Strikes, which I should probably take out of this macro, considering the way I play. But Silent Strikes, when activated, reduce the amount of hate you generate from your attacks by 55%. So this would be if I was in a group and I actually had a real tank. I would want to lower my aggro as much as I possibly could, because some of this stuff hits pretty hard. And then my second burn button here is I do Crane Stance, which is another one of these nice little longer duration buffs, I believe. A risky stance that will generate 2 very strong flying kicks. I don't know why it says risky, but this is a 10-minute reuse on a 14 timer for 500 stamina. So more stronger flying kicks, right? And then I also do Swifttail's Chant, which is a class ability under the AAs. Right here, we only have rank 2 of it right now, but powers all group members in a 100-foot radius, restoring 2,000 endurance and allowing them to absorb their melee as damage as endurance. So this is just, it's probably not a good spot for it, but I like having that extra endurance, and it kind of makes me take a little less damage while I'm doing this, because I'm taking it with I'm taking that damage as endurance instead of as actual damage. And then use item 17, which is my chest plate. I currently have the, well, this is a different one, but in my bag I have the House of Thule. I think this was tier 3, which is a right click 5 rings technique, which then just strikes the enemies and does more damage. I need to get the latest one, but I have not gotten that lucky yet. So, and then heal of I have the wrong one in my burn. Actually, this got updated at 95, so go ahead and change that right. So heal of Kajoli is the new one. And this focuses your energy using the master technique of Master Kajole, or Kajolai. While in this trance, your flying kicks will do much greater damage and have a higher chance of hitting. You'll also be able to execute them much more frequently. So this makes my flying kicks do more damage, and I can reuse them faster. And since it's auto-skilled, it'll pretty much just use it on cooldown. So it's really nice. And I use that as the primary discipline I use for damage. I have all the other damage disciplines here on this red bar, which is heal of Kajolai, speed discipline, which speed focus discipline just makes you attack faster. I find this one to be a really good one. For all purposes, right? It just makes you attack much faster. Iron Fist discipline, which allowing you to perform a special attack. So every 30 minutes, reuse on that, but it lasts for a minute, so it's a nice little damage boost there. Diamond Paw, increase the damage done by all your melee attacks for 30 seconds. Very nice. After heal, I'd probably go with Diamond Palm as my second, if not speed. Just depends. I have a Vehement Rage on here, so this one's kind of interesting. So this will increase your base melee damage by 15%, and increase your minimum damage by 30%, but reduces the effectiveness of instant duration healing spells by 25%. So in the situation where I play mostly with this character is I'm tanking, so this kind of makes me go berserk in a way, and I don't get healed as much. I don't take more damage, but I don't get healed as much. But I'm running 2 healer mercs plus a shaman, so it kind of really balances out. Let's see here. And we've already covered Infusion of Thunder and Destructive Force in that. And then Intensity of the Resolute. This is another one I have on. This is a special AA you get, I think, in Dragons and Norwrath. It's like it used to be like a veteran reward, I think is what they called it. And this just increases your damage insanely. Increases your chance of healing in damage spells. Apply critically by 50%. Base damage your melee attacks by 55% for 1 minute. So this is a massive damage increase. And it does not stack with glyphs. The glyphs are... Where are those at? Right. Yeah, so here's the mythic glyph of Dragon Scales, Arcane Secrets, Inspire Provocation, I can't talk, and Ultimate Power. Ultimate Power is a glyph you would want to have in your arsenal. If you're trying to burn something down really fast, increases your melee hits by 15%, critical damage by 20%. It's just, look at all these numbers. And this is the rank 1. This goes up. So this is like, you have to buy all these with AAs, and then they're expendable, and you have to rebuy them. I just haven't bought them yet. This is the level 60 version. It goes all the way up to 120. And you'd want to burn with that as and rebuy these every time with your AAs. All right, so let me check here. That covers a lot of the offensive. For defensive, I have a few. I have Veiled Body. Let's see if we can find that one over here. Veiled Body, right here. This fades your body from this plane, making it much more difficult to strike you. So this kind of makes you a little bit more evasive. It's a 20-minute reuse, but it has a 10-minute duration, and it has a 0 cost. So it's a really long lasting, right? So it lasts for a while. And I like to just pop that when I'm, grinding mobs. So I take a little less damage, and it just seems to work out pretty well. See here, Cloud of Fists. I think that's already in a different macro. Let's see if we can find it up here. Yeah, your hands blur, pummeling your opponent, and seamlessly endless fists. I think that one is not there. And then 6-step pattern. I don't ever click anything but Veiled Body over here, so I'm trying to remember. 6-step pattern. Yeah, I think this is already in my spam. So those are already in my spam. There's a few other, like Void Dance, I believe, is another defensive that if I need it, I have access to it. I just don't see it here. And then Echo of Office. God, I can't talk. Obfuscation and Veiled Apparition. These are, so the Echo is kind of like a lull, and the Veiled is a kind of a mez. So it works pretty well. I believe one of these is a AE. Oh no, so I said that wrong. Echo is the mez, Veil is the lull. Sorry about that. Yeah. And Master's Aura is a aura you get at, I think, 70. There's one at 55 you get also. That just gives you, it's a group buff, so it's just like a long-lasting group buff that gives increased dodge, parry, and riposte to everybody around you, so it makes you a little bit more tankier. Really nice, like if you're paired with a warrior and stuff, since they already have a lot of that kind of stuff. It makes them a little bit more tankier. Shadow Knights and stuff work too, but I like warriors. Let's see here. None of those are really related to that. Feign Death, macro, attack off, DOA 4. My actions are like Forge, Feign Death, number 4, so it's just off. Mend is a great skill. This will heal you almost instantly, full heal. Like every so often. I don't know what the reuse time on it right now is, but we get a lot of improvement. Here we go. So improves the chance you critical perform superior men by 92%. So almost every time it full heals me, and reduces the reuse time by 5.5 minutes on my mend. I feel like it's every 30 seconds or so. And then the next rank, 100% chance. So and that'll finish that skill line out. Imitate Death. This is an AA that is instantly feign deaths you and clears your aggro and then makes you invisible. I have that as my one of my feign deaths. I kind of swap between the two. Just usually when I feign death, if I remember to do it, I forget a lot. I need it. So, and then my pull button is disc reprieve. So if we go to reprieve, right, quickens the rate at which you regain endurance, but only if your reserves are lower than 21%. So I run it. I run constantly until I run out of stamina, and when I pull with this activates reprieve, which will get me up to 21% stamina pretty quick, so I can kind of keep going and going and going without sitting down. And then I activate what is it? There's a name for it. I just can't remember it. Oh gosh, what is it called? Distance Strike. There it is. Right. I click Distance Strike is my pull ability, which will it's 300-foot range, and it does 1 damage, so I won't get summoned, and it's just an all-around great skill. And it has a 3-second reuse now, and at 105 it'll have a 2-second reuse, so it's pretty nice for pulling. I find it great. And Grappling Strike, I don't really use this as much, but this will like pull a mob towards me. It just depends. It depends on what the mob is and stuff. And then that's for the slow for the shaman. Looks like that. It's everything. So what I wanted to kind of show, I haven't shown this in any of the other videos, is we're going to go up to this mob. I'm just going to turn on auto attack, right? I'm going to let her attack for a second. We're not going to click anything yet. You can kind of see here we just Tiger Clawed. I don't have enough slots for it. There we go. I can do this one, right? I can put Flying Kick right here. So you can kind of see the reuse time on these. And we're not clicking anything, right? So auto skill is Flying Kick and Tiger Claw right now. Oh, and I might as well mention right here. So I have hotkeys for Flying Kick to auto skill it, auto skill Round Kick, and auto skill Kick. And it should be noted, if you weren't aware, so Sweeping Kick, right? When you're using the kick ability, the actual kick skill, not Flying Kick, you can snare a mob for 6 seconds. When you use Round Kick, you can stun a mob. And I always forget this. I think in one of the videos I was switching this quite often. I always totally forget about it. But this will actually it will trigger enough if you're using Round Kick to break complete heals and stuff like that. Definitely worth switching to. I just always forget. And then I believe Thunderfoot is the one for Flying Kick. There's a lot of them for Flying Kick that just add on to it AA wise, but this one seems to be the one I think it is, which just causes it to do more damage. There's another one up here, like Kick Mastery. Resont Kicks. Yeah, but this one works on all the kicks, just makes them do more damage. And more damage with that. So it's just, it is what it is. But just want to cover that real quick, just in case I forget. And all right, let me see if I can bring this window in. There we go. So she's still fighting it right now. But so right now we're doing about 18,000 DPS. You can kind of see our path here, right? This is with no, not clicking anything, right? So we're not enabling any of the skills that would increase our damage. We don't have the bard going. We don't have the shaman buffing us. So we've done, 1,000 hits, and our max hit was 1183 or 8013, and our average crit chance is about 20%. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back off here. I'm going to turn on the Bard and the Shaman. I'm going to clear that log, right? So I'm going to go over to the Bard. I'm going to turn on my basic Bard stuff, right? So this is, what is her melody right now? It's 1, so all the level 90, she's 94 right now, so it's pretty much all the skills around that level. And this is going to give me haste. This is going to give me some other goodies too. And then we're going to go over here to the Shaman, and we're going to, I think I need Talic. Let me do that one real quick. And I disabled the pet so it doesn't like automatically get in here. We're going to do Talisman of the Lion. And there we go. That won't wear off, so we don't have to worry about the duration on that. So we're going to go ahead and start attacking again. We're not going to do anything yet, right? So we're doing 20, I think it was 20,000 DPS, 18,000 DPS, somewhere around there. We're just going to let her hit again for a few seconds. So we're going to pull that back in. Take a look at it here in just a second. Thing it build up. I just want to see like and show like how the Bard and the Shaman affect our damage, right? Before we start clicking things and start seeing where this really goes in. This is kind of like the reason why I added the Bard and the Shaman to this series. And we are fully buffed with whatever they were buffing in Guild Lobby. I took them there. I went away from the computer for like 2 days, and they were fully buffed. And I was like, oh man, I forgot to log them out. All right, let's take a look at this. Here we go. Same combat dummy, right? So we only have 600 hits at the moment, but she's at 22,000 DPS and with a 22% crit, right? And our max hit went up a little bit, so you can kind of see we're seeing that there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this like that. I'm bringing it out of the way so we can see the screen here. Now I'm going to start hitting things. So I hit 2, I hit 3. When I hit 4, you see the buffs come up here. So we got the Drunken Monkey flying kick boost. So that really helps us out right now since we are doing flying kicks. And we're just going to kind of go with that right now. Just 2 and 3. You see everything's going there. And these things aren't going to wear off because we're here in one of these things where the buffs just usually don't wear off. You can see that everything's just kind of stacking, which is fine. You see we have Zanfi's whistle over here. Are we getting reposted? We're starting to do more damage to him, right? So he's like fighting back in a way, but he's a level 100 dummy, so I think that's pretty good. And you notice we did get a few skill ups there, so we're pretty fresh in this level. So there we go. I think that is good. We'll bring us back in and take a look at the damage here. 25,000 DPS. So we went up another 3,000 just by, using our abilities. Our crit kind of went down a little bit because we're not, getting some luck there. So our max hit went up to 47,000. So definitely getting some bigger hits out of all that. And you can kind of see, like over here, we just had a 17,000 hit and stuff like that. So definitely, we're getting, about 2,000 DPS, ADPS from the Bard and the Shaman, right? And we're getting probably another 3,000-4,000. It depends, right? And this is not a blue mob would probably be a better showcase of how much damage we're doing. So we're getting another, maybe 2 or 3 just from our abilities and hitting them and making sure we keep them off, right? But since we are in Guild Lobby, none of these are going to wear off, so we have the kind of benefit of having the best of the best right now. And so that's just going to keep adding up. And you notice we're just like spamming hits. Like it's just like going by really, really fast and stuff like that. So definitely a really good position that we're in right now. And probably switching to a two-hander is going to be my next step. So about a level 100 is probably when I want to switch to a two-hander until 120, and then we'll keep using that. I believe, I don't think I have it on me. I have a nice encrusted one, and I think I have a blood-soaked one on Gnome Guard, but I should have the two-handed monk weapon that I can use for her. Keep her going, but let's kind of pull this back in real quick and just kind of see where this is updated to. So if we click off of it, unselect, there we go, select it. I don't think it's going to reload since it's in there. I go over here and I turn off combat, right? It might, but so we get up to about 26,000-ish. Still not the same amount of hits yet, but you know, it's in a direction that is really good, so I feel like it's worth it, right? Like, we wouldn't be able to get this far without adding the monk and the shaman. I mean, the shaman and the bard, but it's definitely a high DPS class, and we should be able to get, you know, we're going to keep climbing and doing more DPS. I don't have the best of stuff right now. I have a 5 ratio dagger, or whatever that Qatar thing is, and a 3 there, so they're not that great, I think, at the moment, and we're still using House of Thule stuff at 95 or 96 right now, so we're definitely out of date. And I think I have one of them on me. I guess not. I have the fear touched armor to turn into stuff. I bought the bard. Some guy was selling it for really, really cheap, so I bought the full set of the bard stuff minus the breastplate. But you can see this is 2100 HP for boots versus 1300 HP. So we're definitely losing a lot of stats by not having the latest armor. And that's kind of, you know, one of the reasons why I'm spending so much time in the Reign of Fear to kind of build a baseline. Because my plan is to get from you know, up to 100 into 106, and then we can switch to conflagrant armor. So I'm hoping that we can make it to 106 and try to skip some progression in there. And once we get conflagrant armor, I have everything we need for that, and I'll deck these guys out in full conflagrant armor, and that'll be the next step. But if we have to do TBM, we will, but I think it'll be really difficult without a tank. So that's kind of the thought process I have on this. But that's my setup for this character. That's kind of what I run. I don't do anything else special. I'll do separate videos for the bard and the shaman, kind of showing their macros and how I underuse them significantly. But for the most part, that's the monk. Thank you very much for watching, and have a fantastic day.